my softener.
Well, I had a sump pump that's right next to my softener, but my sump pump didn't work. Jason had to fix it before I could get the water out of the basement.
I never had a leak anywhere in the house.
No, you
Just
don't.
the water kept going down the drain.
Yeah, it's just dumping. It's pipe passing.
Yep.
It only took a couple hours and the water was out of the basement once Jason got the sump pump working.
It has saved quite a few people. It really has. When we
Oh,
you
yeah.
just get all those
No,
in,
it's a good
it
thing.
would be, we don't have all the Neptunes in there.
I
But that
called
really-
Charlie and I go, Charlie, what are we gonna do? I don't know, I can't see it from here.
Of course you can. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Sounds just like Charlie. Yeah. That was good to help somebody out too, instead of waiting. I've been here when we had to wait for the end of the month and we got their bill, and then it's really hard, and it's hard for them to pay, and this is.
I like the fact mine's gone down. Since it's only me.
Yeah.
Within the
Well,
world,
huh?
right, it was.
Jacob moved out, ours just went down significantly.
Yeah.
Mine's like only $43 a month now.
Mine was good till this month. Haven't got the bill yet.
Well, at least they caught it instead of going the rest of the
30
cycle.
days. Mine flipped over. There it went.
It's getting hotter too.
This one's 16 seconds behind.
There it went.
It's on our internet.
Call this meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry,
Present.
Keating,
Present.
Snellings,
Present.
Bikeman, Guaraki,
Present.
Price,
Present.
Barons,
Here,
From,
Here.
8-0. We have quorum.
All right, first up, we have the approval of the minutes from the meeting on April 24th.
Move to approve minutes as written of the April 24th, 2023 meeting.
second.
All right, any changes, amendments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Next, we have 5-minute public comment. Is anybody here for public comment? Yeah, Diane?
I'm Diane Schroller, 211 South 15th, and 4th Ward. And on behalf of Sharon Kessinger, Beth Skinner, Laura Richter, and myself, we're asking the city if they'd be willing to give us up to $500 again for the flowers and supplies to be shared between the 7th Street corridor, Water Tower Hill, Rose Garden, and the city park.
Is that usually what we do is $500? Yeah.
That-
Well, we don't necessarily spend, we don't always spend the $500. It just depends on what, we share it between us. So usually we do, but it just depends on what we need, how many flowers we've lost, which we did lose some flowers in the Rose Garden this
Well,
year.
Probably as dry as it's been.
And, well, with the winter and everything, and I haven't talked to Beth and them, so I don't know what they're going to have to replace at the 7th Street corridor and the Water Tower Hill, so I really haven't talked to them. So, I mean, we all do volunteer work, and so, you know, the time and we spend, so I feel like it's only fair that we do reimburse them for some of it. I do know that Laura, I think she very seldom asks for reimbursement, and Beth doesn't very often. She does some, but, you know, I would appreciate it if,
I think it looks really nice, and I know you put a lot of hours. If you broke that out by the hour, it's pretty rough wage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Move to approve the request.
Second.
All right, any further
Okay.
discussion?
We appreciate that. And then what's the chances of us?
We gotta vote on it.
Huh?
Vote.
Yeah,
gotta
let's
vote
vote
on
on
it.
this and then,
Oh, okay,
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 8-0.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. And what's the chances of us getting the lap swim and morning swim?
We're up to, what, 9 lifeguards, I think?
Well,
With a 10th one if we get another one certified.
well, I mean, why do we have to have a lifeguard? I mean, do we have to have lifeguards there in the morning? I mean, most everybody that goes swimming knows how to swim. I mean,
Yeah,
they're really,
last year the insurance said so.
Insurance would
the
prefer,
insurance
yes.
says, or you guys said the
Well-
insurance?
Well, the insurance said so, but I agree with it, because I really don't want anybody to have a medical emergency and be laying in the bottom of the pool.
I don't know of anybody there that goes and swims that doesn't know how to swim already,
It's not
and
about
several of
having to
them
swim.
have been lifeguards at one time or another, so.
Diane, it's not about having to swim. You can be the greatest Olympian swimmer if you have a heart attack in the pool. Doesn't matter if you can swim or not.
I mean, look at all the money, I mean, look at how many of us pay to go swimming and how much money the city's losing by not letting us go swimming. I mean,
Well, let's be honest, the pool's not a moneymaker now, is it?
well, no, that's not the point.
And we're lucky to have 9 lifeguards. Hanover doesn't even know if they're gonna
It's,
open.
it's going to be a rough year unless we have a few people just show up all of a sudden to work the pool.
I mean, but there are other pools that let people go swimming in the pools without a lifeguard.
Blue Rapids does, I know.
Anybody in your morning group want to get certified? That'd solve the problem really quick. Just an idea.
I d-
Well, if they're good swimmers, then it might not be that big of a challenge, and then, I mean, if they only.
Are you
wanted
gonna pay
cover
them to
that-
get certified?
We do, yes. If they want to be a lifeguard, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But
I mean,
they
I
only
can't,
wanna be
I
lifeguards.
can't pass. I was a senior lifesaver at one time, but I mean, I just think it's ridiculous that you can't let us swim when people want to go swimming. Because a lot of them do it for physical, I mean, it's good exercise. I mean, some of them are, because of the heated pool, it's wonderful exercise for them. I mean,
No, I agree with all those points, but, I mean, we also can't fly in the face of our insurance. I mean, what's the way around that? Just help, I mean, what happens if we do?
Does every swimming pool in the area, do they let people swim at their own risk?
I don't know if they all have the same insurance or different insurance. I really don't know what other cities do. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I can see the insurance's response and why they do that.
And a smaller pool maybe can fly under the radar a little more. And
I mean, a lot of your hotels and motels, you go swimming at your own risk. I mean,
right. But, you know, the thing of it is,
They're not a
they're not city-owned. They have signs, and also they are taking a significant risk, because even all the signs and things in the world aren't gonna protect you from a lawsuit. It might help you at the end, but it's not gonna keep you from getting sued. There's a reason a lot of pools don't, or a lot of hotels don't have pools anymore.
Yeah,
It's not just maintenance, it's also liability. Liability's huge.
a lot of
It's
things.
unfortunate. I mean, we can agree on that.
I mean, we have this wonderful pool and it's not getting used to the extent that it should be getting used.
I agree. I wish it were open earlier, like in the season, later in the season, but
Can't find lifeguards.
I don't know. if
Staffing.
Staffing is gonna be a problem forever, apparently.
It's not that we're paying a bad wage either for them.
No, the wages are up there, I think, where they need to be.
Okay?
Thank you.
But if somebody does have an interest in becoming, certified, we will absolutely, make that happen.
We always pay
Happily.
for certification for any guard.
And honestly, I'm just speaking for myself, I think it'd be fine if they only wanted to do it for morning swim, and that was their
Absolutely, we would
only
hire
role.
a morning swim
100%.
person if we could. I've tried that.
They could,
we've done that in the past. We had
Yeah.
2
Yes.
guards that ran just morning
just
swim.
morning swim, yeah.
Well, so what about the swimming lessons and stuff? Do you have, they're certified and are the swim team, are you gonna have a swim team?
Advertises, huh?
Yeah, swim lessons will be the week before school, or week after school gets out before the pool opens. They're coming on next Sunday. We're filling the pool as we speak to test them to see what range they're in.
So you got a lifeguard for that?
Yeah, because they're not running the pool, they're teaching swimming lessons instead that week. Pool's not open yet.
Okay. So, and you're gonna have swim team then?
Well, the swim team isn't ours. I mean, the swim team will come whenever, they come at noon or whatever. Right.
And they have a
lifeguard. They do have a lifeguard.
lifeguards.
They
Audrey is a
carry their
lifeguard.
own insurance as well.
And they do carry their own insurance.
Separate.
But they do have a lifeguard, that is required, and Audrey is a lifeguard.
What about that?
Well,
What
and
if
then
the-
like some of the kids that swim are as well.
Spitballing, what if the morning swim team, they created their own group and bought their own liability? They're like a senior swim team.
But they still have to have a lifeguard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's talked to somebody certified.
Still have to have a certified.
And part of the problem with the morning swim is the hours.
Yeah.
Because the state says that someone of a certain age can only start
Right.
certain hours.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they can't start that.
And do we have anybody lifeguard that's?
We have
We
some,
we
but
don't have
can't
enough
keep-
lifeguards to, I
be
mean,
open.
the
But what
problem
I'm
is
getting
when they
at-
come in that early, they don't wanna,
Right,
they can't work that many hours and they don't wanna work that
can't be there
late.
till 7 and.
right.
We've barely got enough as it is to keep the pool open some of those
I do
days, so.
think if it makes you feel any better, that they're gonna try to do aerobics in the 5 to 6 hour and have the center open for that. I mean, the pool will still be open, but they're gonna reserve that so that you won't be doing it in the morning, but they will have that so that you can do it in the evenings. They were gonna
Well,
say
there's some that don't do aerobics that still would like to go just because, for the exercise, because.
Right, they can
the-
swim laps or do whichever they
Right.
want to do. I mean, they don't have to be part of that class, so we'll see if that works. They were throwing that out there so that if the pool was already open, if they could make that slot work, just, and then let the people in the shallow and the people in the deep, but let the center be open for that. Colleen had looked at that, so she's still seeing if she can make that work at least a few days a week.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else for 5-minute public comment? Yes. Hello.
Good evening. I'm Anita Welch. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in Lori's ward, but I'm not sure even what number that is. But the exciting thing is now when I stand up here and talk to you all, I am now I now pay property taxes in Marysville, Kansas. So I feel at least I'm on the same playing field as everybody else now when I talk to you all. I'm not here to ask you for anything. I'm here to encourage you. I had a great conversation this morning with Bob, and I am I'm a real advocate of the beautification of Marysville. Through the years of living here in the 60s and 70s, moving away for 30-some years and then coming back, I just really think that Marysville deserves the best when it comes to how our city looks. And we may look good on Main Street, but 2 blocks off Main Street, we don't look so good. And I think that Bob is going to do a great job. I'd like to encourage you, when he has problem properties, that you don't continue to give the people a waiver and let them go and let it go and let it go, because it hurts our property values. I write the train tales for the depot, and last month I wrote an article about, I read in a book about how Mr. Lonergan, who was the very first agent here, had a group of about 15 guys that came in and they wanted to go to San Francisco. They were leaving Marysville to go live in San Francisco, and the ticket was $52. And one guy only wanted to pay $5. And Lonergan said, well, you can't pay $5. And so he took out his revolver and he shot Lonergan. The thing is, his brother-in-law knocked his arm off, so the bullet went through his hat instead of through his head. And as the guy ran out to catch the train, he said, Marysville's just becoming too civilized. Well, sometimes let's get back to being really civilized. Let's get back to being a not only train town USA, but a beautiful town USA. So I'm going to probably be the most hated woman in Marysville before this is all over, because on the Concerned Citizens of Marysville's Facebook page the other day, a gentleman was really wild about the fact that he had a freezer on his patio outside without any covering or not locked or anything, and he was upset because he got a letter that said he had to remove it. Well, that has nothing to do with how it looks. That has everything to do with safety. If you look at the national laws, you know that you can't have a refrigerator, a freezer, or a dryer or a washer, anything that has an appliance that has a lid on it, and have it outside without the lid or door taken off, because it's a danger to children. That guy just couldn't get it. And then one other lady said, well, Bob's just trying to make a name for himself. No, Bob's doing his job, okay? So I would like to encourage all of you to please support him as much as you can, and don't let these people, put you in a corral and make you do and approve them over and over again. The reason that we have codes is for property value, okay? And if I'm trying to sell my house next to somebody whose house is all trashed, then I pay property taxes. They may pay property taxes, but it's not fair for me as a homeowner to have to look at that and have to deal with it. So I'm just pleading with you all today to support this man. Let's not run him off. Let's help him. And I'm sure going to do everything I can to help him. And, if they want to blame me and be nasty to me, go ahead. You can't believe, after being in the golf industry for 35 years, I've got skin like an elephant, okay? So I don't care if they don't get like me. But I do want to make sure that we stay within the codes of the city. And my next thing I want to deal with is I need to understand appraisals. When somebody gets appraised for their property taxes, if they paint their house, do they get their property tax raised, where that's a maintenance thing versus somebody putting new siding on their house, which would be a new thing. So as citizens, we don't get that. We don't understand it. We don't really know where that comes from. So I think I'm going to work with Sharon and Sarah Kessinger and see if we can come up with a good way to explain that to the public. Because I hate when I hear, well, I'm not painting my house because they'll just raise my taxes. Well, that's not a good answer, and it's not a good answer for Marysville. So anyway, thank you so much for letting me chat with you today, and I promise I won't be up here too much, okay? Now that I pay property taxes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Mike Welch. I'm going to take my shot too. I'm just interested in an update on the Sprint grant application that was applied to the corridor here.
No updates. They haven't awarded anybody yet.
Okay, but we are past the deadline when they said they were going to award us.
No, the deadline was no sooner than.
Oh, no sooner than.
June 1st.
How tricky the
No, it was
government,
no sooner than April 4th.
how tricky the government can be. Okay.
Yeah.
No later than June 1st.
I don't remember a no later than. You may be right, but I don't remember.
I
a no
look at
later.
it once a day, so, yeah.
Okay, good.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, it's been a real challenge for me, because the depot applied for another one also, and it was supposed to have been granted or announced on the 5th. I think it was the same day as the Pony Up. And there's just, crickets as far as any information what's going on. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. You.
Okay. Anyone else here for 5-minute public comment? Okay. Move on to business and discussion. First up, we have the barricades for the Mother's Day market.
That request was for Sunday only, correct?
That is correct. It's they moved where they were gonna do the,
Barbecue, or, yeah. to the
right,
dinner,
so they're, yeah, so it's not going to affect the wagon wheel or.
Because you guys are closed
whatever.
on
We're
Sunday,
closed
correct?
anyway.
Okay,
Right.
move to approve the request, then.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I was just making sure.
Yep, right.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Okay, next we have, quite a few things under notices and hearings. First up, we have 811 North 8th, nuisance resolution, number 2023-02. Bob?
Hello. You just want to tell us what each resolution, well, start with the first one and just tell us what it's about.
Which one do you got first
The
there?
first, Teeter.
811 North 8th.
811 North 8th.
Okay. Which one was that again?
811 North 8th.
811 North 8th? Okay, there we go. Michael Teeters? Well, he had stuff in the backyard. He's not taking care of it. You can see the first two pictures, that was what it was before. And the last two pictures is what I took the other day. And he hasn't done a thing about it.
And I feel like there's a lot more that's been added.
There is.
The front porch has been filled.
Yeah, the front porch is bad too. I haven't got the pictures on that.
Oh, I see it every time I leave my house, so.
Yeah, so. But the ones from the front porch, I'm gonna have to resubmit it because that's a whole different claim.
You want to tell the council what you're asking them with this resolution?
Well, I'm just asking them to get it cleaned up and, but we ain't having any luck. He hasn't accepted his letters, so I don't know what you guys wanna do.
But why does the front porch have to be a separate thing? Why wouldn't it be clean up the whole property?
Well,
Because-
after I sent the first letters out, I don't know what happened. I know he didn't get it because it was returned to me. I got a person, and I'd taken pictures of it, those first ones of it. And then I had a lady come in and said, couldn't believe it, but he threw stuff out the front door.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's two different situations right there. I'm gonna have to, I was gonna write it up today, but I couldn't get the computer to come up like it was supposed to. But,
I guess what I'm confused about is how is it two different situations when it's one address?
Property.
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
clean the whole thing up, but don't add more to it.
That's my thing, though. That's part of the problem with this is that it shouldn't be that if you take a picture of the first violation, you shouldn't be able to add more to the other side yard and be like, oh, now we gotta do more paperwork, more time. This is killing us.
Yeah.
This is us dragging it out. This is,
One of the reasons is, state statutes really try to protect your personal property rights. So we could send letters to go say clean up your whole property, but that could be seen as an abuse of power, and harassment. So we have to designate, okay, you got a freezer on your front porch. Well, you get rid of that freezer and put your washer and dryer out there. It's, in that same time frame, we have to recite it. It's a new thing. And that way we document and go, okay, well, freezer, get rid of it. And that pile of trash, get rid of it. It's in the letter, it's in the pictures, versus a generic, clean your property up. And maybe it gives the property owner, maybe the washer and dryer was just outside that day. And So it gives them a chance to fix that. But everything that we're doing here is strictly as close, as I understand it, to state statute that we can go.
I don't know, because they changed the grass.
So basically, all you want him to do is clean this pile up.
Well, he needs to clean that up, but he's gonna get another letter
Well,
to
I
clean
know,
the
but-
rest
but
of it up too.
currently, he just
Yeah.
needs to clean his pile up by his
Yeah, 'cause it's
side
gonna
of
be
the back
nothing
of
but
his
a,
house, 'cause
it's
I
gonna
know
be nothing but a rodent
Exactly.
problem.
Yep.
And we don't need that in Marysville.
Nope.
And that we can highly suggest that he clean the rest of it up, but if he doesn't, it's not, and he cleans this portion up, that would initiate everything else. But in the process, we can go, you need to, yeah.
So if we act on this one and then he gets another letter, so then does he get another fine in the same amount?
If he doesn't clean up the other way, and if it goes through the same process, yes.
But it doesn't matter.
Because it's a whole different situation.
Yeah, but also, you gotta pay the fines before they matter.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he will, I don't know if he won't, I'm not saying
You
that.
can assess it to the property.
It'll go into property taxes.
Well, that's worked out really well for us in the past.
Yeah, I know.
So that's
It is
that's
what
kind
it
of
is.
a waste of time.
So do we have a total of 3 resolutions here? 02,
Got 5.
04, 06?
2 through 6.
I would ask that we go through all 5, and then I don't see any reason to make our decision after that, in my opinion. But if we want to vote each one separately?
Well, yeah, you want to
we'll
vote
vote
each one
You
separately.
have to.
He does have some new circumstances with some of these. So, yeah, we'll go through each one of these, and you can make your decision. I'd probably just vote on them each individually, because they are each individual resolutions.
So we're gonna vote on this, he's gonna clean it up, or we're gonna send somebody in to clean it, what's gonna happen?
He's got 10 days
till the
after
18th
this
of May.
resolution.
And he's got 10 days, and then we will send somebody up to clean it
Then we have the right to go and abate. Yes.
at their cost.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-02.
Second. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Aye. Next up is 2023-03, 605 North 15th.
.605 North 15th.
Yeah, that's just some brush.
There's the tree, all this brush piled on the side of the garage up there. I sent them a letter, didn't do a bit of good. They refused, they didn't even accept the letter.
Okay.
And you can see the second one is the second page there. It's the same as what it was the first time I was up there.
Move to approve resolution 203,
Second.
2023-3, excuse me.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next up we have resolution 2023-04, it's 700 Calhoun.
Okay, 700 Calhoun is Rex Estes.
Yep.
Okay, first page is what it looked like when I went there the first time. And then I go over there and take a follow-up, and there's more stuff piled in there. And then I happen to go by there the day, and it looks a little better, but it's more organized, but there's still a lot of junk there. Now, that last page is what the day looks like. I think they're cleaned that shed out, and all that stuff's now piled in the yard. But they got rid of the tires.
Is it work in progress?
Yes.
Yeah,
But-
but how long are you gonna give?
But if
somebody
it's
to
work
go?
in progress, does the resolution not say that you have so much time to take care of it, and then we move on?
10 days.
10
And that
days.
is-
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2023-04.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 8-0. Next up, we have Resolution 2023-05 at 509 Carolina.
Okay. You can see the sofas in the backyard. There's two of them, and then all the limbs. And when I went back to review it, the limbs are still there. And there's another sofa in the backyard. So there's 3 sofas in the backyard that need to go bye-bye. And I got one of their letters returned today, so, that they didn't accept.
One question I have on this one, the Napa, I'm guessing that's,
That's the existing property next to it.
okay, so that has nothing to do with this.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Move to approve resolution 2023-5.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Okay, that last one's Resolution 2023-06 at 906 Calhoun.
As you can see on the first page, they've got brush stacked up beside the gas meter, and not only that, it's right next to in the alley. And when I went back to review it, you can see on the second pages, it's no better than it was in the first place.
Move to approve resolution 2023-06.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Done a good job, Bob, thank you. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion about any of the items on there? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 8-0. Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3797.
Move to approve appropriations ordinance 3797.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Or actually, roll call.
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Snellings,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Guaraki,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barron's,
Yes.
Trump,
Yes.
8-0.
All right, next up, Austin with the staff reports.
All right, first on the list, financials. General fund is a little over $1 million at the end of April. Balance is about what it's been for the last 3 years, which is good. Maybe it's a little higher than last year's actually. The water fund saw a $23,664 decrease in balance. Just paid, for all funds, we just paid the insurance in April, so that's a huge effect. We one lump sum off the year, so that had an effect on the water fund. Looking hopeful to see some increases due to the summer months and increased water usage. Sewer fund had a $13,622 increase, which was about the same increase as in 2022, and the sales tax fund saw a decrease, but that's because the sales tax disbursement was a little behind our reporting process. So you'll see it, that revenue have probably a double number next month. But it's still not doing too bad. Any questions on financials? All right, next, looking to have our next workshop, hopefully on May 25th at 6 PM. Is there any issues with that?
State track is the next day, so there's a,
So it's.
so I may or may not make it, is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right, if you come up with a issue, please let me know afterwards. You think of it later, or you don't, if you're not in charge of your own schedule, I can understand that too. Just let me know. And if too many, council members can't make it, then, we'll have to reschedule.
Otherwise, we're on a go for that day
Yes,
at 6,
6 o'clock, yes.
Thursday.
Yes, Thursday. Last thing on, well, I don't have anything else, but I'll draw your attention to this month's Kansas Government Journal that's on your desk. Front page, Marysville. This volume had to do with emergency management issues.
The middle picture down there is Marysville too.
Yeah, Marysville's on the front page. It's talking, yeah, on those two pictures, and Andover's in the bottom right corner, and I don't know where the other one is. It's nondescript. This has to do with the tornado last year, June 11th. And our very own Matt Simpson wrote the article on page 86. Talking about our response and what we learned from the incident. Very well written article, and goes to show that we can learn a lot, things you don't know. And I was just rereading it, and one of the things that popped out under lessons learned is we lacked resources for responding to loose dogs when their enclosures are opened up due to the storm. And it's these sort of things that when responding to emergencies like these natural disasters, just shows you how unprepared, even though you're really prepared. We're one of the, I think, even listening to some of the other cities and counties, our county does a great job at emergency management. And we coordinate very well, especially when you hear some of the horror stories in other counties and other towns. A lot of people don't even have an emergency operations plan. We do. We have an extensive one. Even when we have that preparation, we can't answer all these questions until they happen. And then this article also, and I've reiterated this. I mean, I've talked on this to my colleagues about how our community came together immediately after the storm was gone. And there's a picture in here that I like. It's a picture of a sign that says "Free Chainsaw Sharpening." And that's just a small bit of what came together on June 11th, June 12th, and the weeks to follow. We couldn't have made it out if it weren't for all the community members coming together, helping each other, neighbors in hand, get their yards cleaned up, get the people fed, and just helping out. And this article is just a small testament to that. So Matt did a great job, and he's representing us to the state by doing that.
Very nice. Okay. Did you want talking about that grant with the charging station?
Oh, yeah, I can talk about that. Okay, last week I learned through the league's listserv about a grant. Actually, I learned about a company that's helping people with charging station grants. They're trying to facilitate large projects, They like turnkey ones where they own, operate, and all that stuff. But that company alerted me to a prospective grant where a proposal was due last week. I learned about it the Friday before last, that it was the two-page proposal was due the next Friday. So I put together, all it was asking for a proposal for a charging station, or charging stations, or a project including charging stations. It didn't give an amount, it gave a match of 80%. So I went ahead and filled it out. We already have a site prepped for a new charging station. We did that when we installed the last charging station. Ran a new line of conduit from the power supply, proposed power supply. So I ran off of that. What I proposed was a level 3 charger, which is a fast charger. What we have over there right now is a level 2 charger, level 2 commercial charger, which is a step above what you can put in your home. I'm sure you can put a level 2 in your home, but whatever you get with your car is usually a level 1 plug-in. But the level 2 charger charges the car in 7 to 8 hours from low battery. A level 3 charger charges your car, depending on the size of battery, in 15 to 30 minutes. And so I wrote the proposal with that in mind. I got a quote from the same place we got the last charger, the charging station from, with their charging station, because I knew, one, KDOT likes them, Evergy likes them as one of their approved vendors. And I went with their top level charging station because it has 2 ports, 2 plugins, just like we have right now. And it has the capability, the setup has the capability of supporting a second charger if we went with it. Or if in the future we want to switch out the level 2 with a level 3 and have 2 level 3 chargers on the highway. So I turned that in. The level 3 chargers, with all the bells and whistles, the 1 charger and charging station and the power box, which is basically a cooler for the power supply, costs a total of $200,000. Then I got a rough estimate from Hanover Electric in the short time frame that I could get it, of $37,000 to install. And Evergy, I talked to them and they said, Alex Rombeck said they're within their realm to not charge us anything because the 3-phase is right there on the corridor. So the grant pays 80%. So that would put us on the hook for $50,000. The plus side is that Evergy gives a $20,000 rebate for having that specific. Well, they said because we chose that charging station, they would give us $20,000 in a rebate. So that brings us down to a $30,000 buy-in. Now, the proposal was just a start. It was required to to turn the proposal in to get an application for the grant. So we're not even near anything like that. So that's what I did, or that's what will actually help me get all this stuff together too.
So there's no time frame on when the grant would be awarded?
Well, they gotta send out the applications. So I'm assuming this first step was to kick out all the people who weren't prepared, because they didn't wanna get all the applications, and say, we want this, but we're only gonna throw out, oh yeah, it costs us this amount of money, and they're totally unprepared. So I think this was a weeding down process.
Well, it's nice that we already have the second line run though, so I
Yes.
mean, it's,
And I threw in that proposal, whether, I mean, you could not like this idea, but, I threw in there the cost of running 2 additional conduit down to Broadway, on a couple sites. You don't have, you can or can't, you don't have to execute on that. I mean, you could, just, either X-nay that portion of it. It's the cheapest portion, other than the concrete price that we were looking at to fix that sidewalk with the conduit, just for future preparation and keeping electric vehicles down, or, I mean, having a stopping spot for electric vehicles around our businesses and restaurants and the bathrooms that are there, because they really like the fact that you're putting these next to bathrooms, and restaurants and shops and stuff like that. So I'll wait for their application to come through, to see if they give me any feedback on the project or not.
So, this is interesting. I mean, it would be amazing to get some fast charge stations in Marysville.
Yeah.
So. Okay. You have anything else, Steve?
I don't think so.
Next up, we have a dangerous unsafe structure at 205 Calhoun.
Good evening, everyone. This is just a house down there, 205 Calhoun. I was asked to go take a look at this, and when I got there, I found the roof has been like this for quite a while. We have some foundation damage going on here, some storm windows that are knocked out. The windows behind are intact. There's a lot of rotted soffits around this. So, how this kind of works on this is I make the report to you guys, and you guys decide if they want to set up a hearing to talk to the people on this. We'd have to put it in the paper for 2 consecutive weeks, and then they'd have 30 days from the last time it was in the paper. So we're looking 45 days out before they got 45 days to start working on it, pretty much, is what we got here. Trying to get this stuff fixed up before we even set a resolution, which then we have another, usually 30 days after a resolution. Just trying to get the work in progress, get ahead of the game on it.
Did this house get a new owner?
It did. It had Alan Bankendorf down as it, and I'm under the understanding Walter Malarnick owns it now.
Did,
Walter Malarnick.
Do you remember that name?
Yeah.
it don't matter if you remember it or not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We didn't go after him, it's over.
Yeah.
Have we told Walter about this?
I haven't talked to him yet.
I don't know how you do anything with something that is not listed to the correct property owner. And the next question I'm gonna ask is, because I've seen plenty of them that are in far worse shape than this, is how does this one jump up and the other ones in town aren't even mentioned?
Because I was asked to go take a look at it. If you want to make a list of them you want me to take a look at, I can do that.
I'm not doing somebody else's job.
Okay.
I got plenty of jobs. What I don't understand is, and since you're here, you're gonna get asked.
Yep.
Prime example is, there's a house on North Street. We all know the house on North Street. We've all complained about the house on North Street, but we're not condemning it.
I went and talked with him on that one.
Well, how much longer are we gonna give him to do something? Because it's not fair to jump this guy into condemning.
Mm-hmm.
And we've let that sit up there for years.
Well, the one on North Street is lived, if it's what I'm thinking that you're talking about, it's lived.
Living conditions are debatable.
Well, I know. This one has been vacant for probably 15 years at least.
Well, we got one right down here that we can debate living conditions also. Because it doesn't say if they're lived in necessarily, it says where's that say? It does have a vacant and open, but, structure fails to provide the necessities to decent living, which makes it unfit for human habitation. Would this one right down here be unfit for human habitation?
Well, they're living in it right now.
Doesn't matter, people live in squalor all the
I'm
time.
not gonna debate, I mean,
Is it
they are
unfit?
living in it, that would be
That's
probably up
another
for
one that's
discussion.
went on for years.
has.
No,
We
have a structure up the street that nobody lives in.
On 8th, that one we need to probably do something
We
about.
don't even have a violation on it. Every time we condemn something, do something, we take it off the tax roll. Are the taxes paid up on this?
They are by the previous
Okay.
property owner.
You got one.
I don't like taking things off tax rolls necessarily because it's just money out of your pocket.
I'll just tell you, I've gotten complaints by several of the neighbors in the area.
I just
The
tell
new
you, I've
owner
made
is-
complaints about
is-
several of the structures I'm
I
talking
know,
about.
and we need to look at some other structures definitely too.
I'm
That
asking
we
how this
don't,
one
we've
jumps
got
ahead.
quite a few. Because this one is getting cleaned up by somebody that is burning trash in the front yard and
We got another
burning all
person that
kinds
burns
of
trash in
things.
this town, and we don't do anything about it either.
And that's another thing we need to probably discuss because we had another incident with somebody burning trash down on Sixth Street, and he burns about once a year, and the issue is that it's against the city ordinance to burn trash, but there's no fine set up.
Hey, we'll deal with that.
Well, I'm just saying, it's
I know,
left to
we're
the,
dealing with this one,
it's left to the
but what I'm getting
fire
at on this
chief,
one
and
is you have to give the new owner a fair chance to fix it up, correct?
he does.
That's what
I would give
setting the
him,
resolution gives him that chance. That's, if we set the resolution tonight, then
Sydney,
it gets in the paper.
you have the wrong owner on here.
Correct,
That would be the first thing to take care of.
right.
Can we approve a resolution to the wrong owner? Or can
No,
we just?
you can approve it to the correct owner. If
Do
you
we have
agree that
any-
this house is blighted.
Do we have any paperwork that says, well, if the house on North Street ain't blighted, now I'm not calling this one blighted.
I didn't say that wasn't blighted. I'm just saying that that's how it works. We can set a resolution, then we have to put it in the paper twice, so that could be the 11th and the 18th. Then it would be June 17th that he has to have done something. If he hasn't, then he has
And there's
30 more days. He has till the 17th to do a hearing of June,
And there's another house that's on Jenkins Street that,
that you can go another.
it's got holes in the roofs. It's unfit.
we've
unfit.
I'd
No, we're
get
not
us some
doing
addresses
anything
and,
about it.
well,
No.
we need to get after some of these.
I'm not doing everybody else's job. I'm done
How's
with
that somebody else's, that's our job. I mean, if it needs to be condemned, that's council's job.
I want to support both them guys, but
Yeah.
there's two guys.
Mhm.
That's 16 hours a day. I have enough work to do on my own. I
will-
get chewed on by the neighbors because they've looked at it for years, and they're done. We're doing nothing.
And there's some of these that we just need to be done. I mean, there's some of these that have been for 5 years making progress. And I mean, if you move off two
Hey,
items that
when
need to
was
be
the last
gone and you move
complaint
3
on this
back in,
house?
that's not really progress.
This was this week.
No, last complaint, before you got told to go look at it, last complaint on this house.
Last year on grass.
So this has had a grass complaint.
Before that, I'm not sure. It was before me.
How long have you been
Grass
here?
bus, this
Been
is,
here
this is the
2.5
one that
years.
was
Okay, so in
supposed
2.5
to,
years, this has gained a grass complaint.
this is the one that last year there was a grass complaint and the
Doesn't matter
solution
what he
was that
did.
the entire front yard got Roundupped.
So?
You don't have to mow it if it's dead. But I'm
Yeah,
not sure
and
if that
you
was
can dig
the-
it out and
I'm
pour
not
it to
sure if that's the
concrete
result that the
and paint
neighbors
it
were
green, and it doesn't
wanting.
matter either.
You know?
It wasn't tall grass, was it?
I'm just telling you, you can stay on top of this house right now, or we can tear it down in 2 years when it has another $10,000 worth of stuff shoved in it, because we just went through this.
It won't be 2 years, because you gotta get it on the tax sale.
Probably won't be on 2 years. No, we'll be tearing it down before 2 years.
Well, then
It'd
maybe
be
the
however
city
many
better
years
get a
till it
little
gets-
bit more aggressive about going after things. And get a little bit more aggressive about dealing with past problems.
And I would start with this one. because it's a problem.
I'm where I'm at is I'm giving the owner a fair chance.
I'll just tell you right now, because I was getting calls about it. He was burning out there without a permit on Friday night. So I called the police. They came, told him to put it out. He put it out. He fired it back up Saturday morning. It went out. He fired it back up Saturday night. It went out again. He fired it back up last night when the wind blew in. Then it was whipping it all around. Then the rain finally put it out that time, and I don't know. I think he was burning it again this morning.
You're talking to
He
the
just
wrong guy on that.
burning, just stuff from the house, stuff around the yard,
Talking
stump,
to the wrong guy. You wanna know
boxes,
why?
trash, whatever.
I go
Just
to
keep it
peop-
burning.
I go to people's houses in town where they light something on fire on red flag days, no burn days, and they use the excuse they didn't know, and, oh, I didn't think it'd go anywhere. Wind's blowing a solid 40, and you're lighting it in a neighborhood, and your neighbor freaks out and calls the fire department. We didn't do anything to him either. So I don't wanna hear, if you're not gonna write the ticket for doing the illegal burn, then you're wasting your time talking about it.
Do we have any
No, this
specs
city's
on
gotta grow
that?
some teeth.
On what?
On finding people for burning illegally?
There's no fine, is there? That's the problem, is there's no fine. It's up to the fire chief. And I don't know if it's really his response. I mean, he can do it, but I think it would be easier if there was a set amount where the police can issue a citation when that happens.
What about the one that I hear
But that would
all
have
the
to be,
time is-
council would have to change that.
No, what about the one that I hear all the time, that if you burn without calling in and doing the burn, that the police issue the ticket and the fire chief signs it? It's one I've heard for the past 2 years. We don't do that either, but I'm just asking, what happened to that one?
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, every year I get a call about the one down on 6th Street, because it's typically trash that gets burnt too, not just leaves and brush and stuff like that. And every year the neighbors complain, and then they go down there and nothing, there's no fine issued to the person, and
Here's where I'm at on this house. Somebody go talk to the new owner, make sure he's the new owner, make sure the paperwork's been done, and then you can bring it back to next council.
next meeting.
Because then he knows that he has a certain amount of time to get something done. And then we have the correct owner on there.
Right?
He knows we're paying attention.
There you go. And it covers us because we have the correct owner on there and we've made contact.
And I would add that I think we're putting teeth in things after tonight, after 5 resolutions, because it's the first time that I've seen us do 5 resolutions in a row, so.
It's a start. We got a long way to
Yeah,
go.
so we're putting baby teeth in it right now.
Well,
As
but
long
I
as
will
they don't
say,
fall out.
Well, let me tell you, one house that I drove by tonight, it is so overgrown that it has yanked the fence down. And the neighbor has watched it for 4 years.
And the tree from last year's tornado.
Punched the holes in the roof and they're still there.
In the house?
Yes.
Yep,
Somebody live there?
yep.
Yep.
Wow, that's kinda cool.
The crushed car sat in front of the house for 3 months. The grass is probably 18 inches tall on it right now.
Well, we also have a structure on the west edge of town with partial tarp roof
I
that welcomes
totally-
everybody in, and I get
I
more
totally
questions
agree.
about it.
Yep.
That's another one that right there needs to be taken care of.
There's no progress, and that's been, what, since August,
Yeah,
yeah, well,
June.
June, actually.
and I understand that
Park's not in
progress is
August.
a little bit slow, but let's talk about that one down there that's whittling away on a tree that fell, and all we're doing is throwing it in the backyard. So if you take a look at what our code enforcer wrote up, how long before we decide that, hey, we gotta write this up now? There's no teeth down there. And since you and I've been on here, maybe not some of the new ones, we have dealt with a rat stop problem.
Yep.
We have dealt with numerous times of him, oh, well, he's cleaned it up, and I'm tired of, because he moved something from here to here, it's new. That is the true definition of blight and squalor and everything else.
Vehicle pulled it with a chain around the block and moved it to the other side of the street. I've watched
Yeah.
them do it.
Yeah. It's a never-ending one. It's the blue one on North Street's never-ending.
Yeah.
I mean, we have got to put timelines to motivate these people to do something. And I think it's fair, because how long's that roof been inverted on that garage?
Which garage? Oh, on that one, that's before I was here. So
And that
2.5
means
years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
We've let it go for 2.5 years and done nothing. And even if you condemn the garage, it doesn't mean you condemn the house.
Right.
But they parked the grain truck because they're going to clean up. You see how tall the weeds are in front of the grain truck?
Yep.
Been there a little while. We're not progressing. I understand why some people come in here angry about us not cleaning up. You know, I have a construction project, and I cleaned my yard because it drove me crazy, because it looked terrible. So, that's where I'm at on this. I know that we're not happy about who owns it. I know where it's headed. The other point about that is, have we went after him for the other house?
Well, it's on the property taxes, but he's not, it'll go on a sale. We'll never get the money back out of it.
No, but have we went at him a different way?
I don't know, is there any other way that we can really, other than putting it on the property taxes, that's about it.
Dr. John, is there something else? Is there a way to go after him civilly? You know, we didn't create his
Probably
problem
not.
where he lives.
I think the only resolution on that, if they're not, I mean, you can't force them to pay, you're gonna take the property and you're gonna sheriff's sale it, which means we're gonna get like, you know, $1,000 on a $15,000 bill and eat the rest.
We won't get it, the county will get
Well,
the taxes.
the county
first.
will
We
get
won't
it.
get any.
But there you go, that was one that, I mean, for probably 5 years, we messed around with that property. We sent the city guys, the crews over there
I know.
at least 3 times to clean it up. And then it never got cleaned up. We finally condemned
We need
it.
to change our practices, how we handle those situations. We can't let people come in here and say, oh, you know, give us a sad story when they're not really that's not really the problem.
Well,
I
and I
mean,
know.
prime example is with that residence there by Catholic Church.
Yeah. Now, is there any towns that do it a little bit different, that are a little bit more aggressive about how they do it, that maybe we need to adapt to?
There's a rash of, free dump days that.
No.
That's what's going around.
No.
I'm just
Now,
reporting.
here's
That's
what I'm
what
gonna
people
tell
have
you
been
is
asking
they're
for,
not
I'll
free,
tell you that.
number one.
Right,
And number two is, I would hate to think how expensive that would be for this town.
right. No, but that's.
Rough estimation, my rough estimation, since I got a little experience in it, it'd cost us 15 to 20,000.
Right.
But how much are we gonna spend enforcing getting those couches out of yards?
Yeah.
The other side of
Okay,
that.
do you want me to tell you the truth? From experience of the other ones that are cleaning up, the problem people don't clean up regardless.
Everyone else.
It doesn't matter if you give it to them free, the only way they're gonna clean up is if you drive in the yard and you get it for them.
That's what a lot of the free dump days
We'll
are,
let-
is going by and cleaning them
Yeah,
up.
and,
Have to set a deadline.
and the thing is if you do like some of them are doing, which I have, is a nightmare, a very big nightmare. If you put it down there for people to take care of it themselves, oh boy, I charge the max as much as I can, because it makes for some very, very long days.
I think a city dump truck and a skid loader and a grapple, you just start showing up the properties and you had so much time.
If
we're
you
gonna-
give them a deadline.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you give them a deadline, then that's what happens.
I also think that you should make it a bare minimum of $100 for the guy, $250 an hour for the machine, for each machine.
It's more than that. We
We have a pretty good
rate. Yeah.
Okay,
And
as
it's
long
per
as,
guy. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
per
What
trim,
I'm-
per all that stuff.
I know, what I'm looking at is basically, I'm trying to say is that it's gonna be $1,000 if they show up, bare minimum. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Because I want it to hurt.
Well, the cleanup day is an interest, and I had this discussion with my dad, because Washington does that. Because I was out there in the garage here a few weeks ago, and I said, why don't you get rid of this stuff? He said, oh, 3 days coming up, and I save everything until it's free cleanup week. And I'm like, well, that's nice, but, because he was like, oh, yeah, it's great. And I'm like, Dad, you'd be hauling this stuff off on your own instead of staying here in a giant pile. So sometimes when you do that, I'm not sure if you truly solve the problem or
You
if
don't.
people just hoard it for a year, wait till it's free, David.
They do. When we had free cleanup days at the county pre-COVID, number one, it was a nightmare because of how much it truly cost. And number two is, you would see that person one time a year, and you guys will be shocked what they bring in, and you stand there with a shovel smacking the rats and the mice to keep them out of your equipment.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, yeah, you
Dead
will.
on a trailer.
Oh, it's bad.
Well, just like the pictures with all the limbs on the side of the building.
That's a prime example of free day that didn't work.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah, we've had multiple free cleanup
Because when-
days
when did
pick up.
we
If
just
they just
do
hauled it out to the
cleanup
right of way, it would have been
In
gone.
August.
But-
Wait,
No,
no,
Or April, I'm
April.
sorry.
We just had
April.
one.
Another A, yeah.
So
We,
all
and
they
we had
had
one
to
last
do was
fall,
get
and we
that
had them
to
after
curb,
the
and they didn't.
storm, and we had multiple after the storm. I mean, they've had probably 3 or 4 probably chances that they could have been hauled off,
Yeah, that's,
so.
and we offer pretty good-sized equipment to haul off pretty good-sized stuff.
Yeah.
Our guys do a good job about that. And I think they're very accommodating to, when some people just can't handle what they got in the yard, our guys are pretty good about helping them out. And we still, for some reason, can't get it done. People don't want us or something. That's my frustration of this cleanup.
Yeah.
I mean, people are, they're done walking out every day and seeing it. They're done. Is where they're at.
Move to approve resolution for condemnation on 205 Calhoun.
Okay, do I have a second?
Was there a resolution?
It's not a
Well, it's
resolution, it's
actually
setting up a
a,
hearing
yeah,
date.
it's setting up a hearing.
Yeah.
Got a second?
Second that.
Second it, okay. Say otherwise we can wait and
It would die on, it would die on.
wait to serve it to the new property owner.
Which we would serve this to the, I mean, because the property changed hands. Yeah,
Right at
I know.
it.
yeah. And, yeah, so that, yeah, it would go to the current property owner.
Even though it changed hands, it's not improving. You know, it's not,
No.
and I don't think it will improve.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna argue that. I just know that you also have not talked to the new owner. That's one of my bigger problems too. Because I wouldn't buy a property if all of a sudden I got a condemnation on it.
Well, I think that, because I had a conversation with the owner that sold it and tried to talk him into maybe seeing if he could find another buyer. Like maybe somebody that wanted to build a house on the property or other things, but, I think that property owner was quite happy to unload this on somebody else.
Let's go, we gotta vote, get her done.
Yep, let's go.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Who's in nays then?
Raise your hand
Nays.
for nay.
Nay?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 and 4?
4 and 4.
This is a tie?
Yep.
Well, I'm a yay.
Vote.
I get a vote for once, I'm a yay.
Parker, Lori, Kevin, and Todd?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, while you're there, Will, could you take a look at the old Eagles Club? Because every time you drive past that, it's
We've
like more pieces are just
a lot of complaints
falling
about
off.
that one.
Staying on that meeting, if we can get you a list.
I can leave my notebook for you.
Leave it here.
Is the
Pass it around.
Is the Thunderbird in the process?
Yes, it
And it's in the
them again, and they were supposed to put another tarp on. They didn't, so we're at the point I gotta go take pictures now, so that's where we're at. It'll become.
Surely you'd
possibly
think
next
I haven't
week.
actually stopped and
Buy
looked at
that.
it. How, I mean, is it
I
toast underneath
can't-
there?
The roof is toast underneath there. I can't get in without them around to actually see what's inside, but I'm sure it's shot too.
It's falling right down into the main part of the.
Correct, it looks like it, so that,
They
yeah,
haven't
it's
fixed
at
that
the point
since
I'm
last
bringing
year?
it hopefully next
Yeah, since
meeting.
last year.
Since the hurricane,
That's
since the
Because I
tornado.
don't drive by it.
That's the point of some of these I've talked about, they
Wow.
haven't done
Yeah.
anything since
so
last
sad.
year.
The rafters
They
are
don't-
exposed
Yeah,
going
they don't need a
down.
new tarp, they need a skid loader.
They need a new
and-
roof, yeah.
Correct.
I know,
They
No,
were-
we might have a parking lot. Yeah.
At one point, Ellen Barber wanted the city to buy it.
I think that was before the damage, though.
It was before the
it was.
damage.
It was?
Yeah.
Say they're trying to sell.
Oh, that's right, because they were closed.
And you know, the thing of it is, if they would've fixed it, they'd be full all the time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
They'd have made all that money back.
yeah.
Yep.
At one point in time, they were claiming that insurance wasn't paying for anything. But
That's not what I heard.
I know, but that's
They had
what,
insurance.
that's the only information we
Well,
get.
in
giving
the,
out.
in this,
Yeah.
in the same way there used to be these rundown cabins on the way into town, it's
Yep.
not what we want on the edge of town.
No.
I mean, you don't want it anywhere, but,
Not anywhere.
yeah.
I just forgot about that one.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see the tarp flapping every time I drive west, which is a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Every morning for me.
Yep, I just forgot about that one.
Next up, we have standing committee reports, street. Have anything on street?
On the lines look good on, North Street and 11th Road.
Yep.
This wasn't there before, and I always thought I'd bring it up, and I just somehow avoided it. Is there any way we can connect that trail delineation line on the corner? The reason I say that is I run out there, and other people walk and ride bikes, and the lines on 11th Road and North Street stop back from the corner a little ways, and trucks love to cut that corner. Now, the line's not gonna keep trucks from cutting the corner.
No.
But maybe they'll, oh, well, I'm driving in the bike lane, I mean, maybe there'll be
Street arrows
something
there though,
good.
too. From the
Right
concrete,
at the
it
corner?
widens out to the,
Well, even if the line, even if it was a tight curve, I've just about got clipped by assuming nobody wasn't gonna cut the corner that hard, and I can't be the only one. I'm not saying I want it for me, I'm just saying somebody may not be paying attention.
there's a lot of people that walk out there.
Yeah. So, and now's the time, since the lines are fresh, if you're gonna do it.
I also noticed yesterday on North Street, whoever mowed and through grass,
And
clear out into that, past that line, walking line.
Holy cow.
yeah.
Yeah.
From which property?
There's only two out there, and I think it was the second house, but I'm not sure.
On North Street or the?
On North Street going towards 11th Road.
Second property, okay.
So is it a house that faces Frank Marshall, or was it one of the other houses that actually fronts onto it?
One of the other houses that actually front onto it. One of those two
On
houses.
the south side?
Yes,
Or the nor-
I'm
on
not
the
sure
south side?
which one it was.
On the south side?
That are close to the road. Not the ones that are.
job mowing either.
Huh? No, they didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Probably a teenager. They'll never know where to go.
Shoot. Anything else on street?
11th Road, south.
I am getting into contact with the property owners to make sure they're okay with the easements. I'm hoping that's the only thing that's holding this up, is that. I'm one by one. Yeah.
Can we put some sort of informational thing in the, maybe like, I don't know, the city newsletter, though, about crack sealing? There seems to be some misunderstanding by people what crack sealing is for, or what role it serves in street repair. Now, that being said, there's some pretty big holes that are trying to be crack sealed together. But I think people think that's, a scab on a damaged road.
Newsletter.
Was that?
That's a good idea. for
Yeah,
the
I just
newsletter.
think maybe, because
Purpose of
people don't
crack
know what
sealing?
crack
Sure.
sealing is. I mean, it's been on the highways for years, but people were flying, so they don't pay attention. Whereas in street, they actually see it. And it's a way to preserve the surface that's otherwise good, so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We always need ideas, if anybody has any more for the newsletter.
Okay, anything else on street?
Yeah, did you hear anything from AT&T yet?
AT&T said that, they contacted, because it's Young Backhoe is the one doing the closest one at 8th and
Right.
Highway. The other one is Kansas Gas. And they contacted them both, and according to AT&T, they were waiting on hot mix.
What did they say about the bricks that I keep fixing? Can I send them a bill?
They were sending out, they said he was gonna get in touch with, he gave me the job title, and they would take care of that now.
It flips up when you drive over it, and in a low enough car, the brick is tall as the undercarriage.
Well, let's rewind this and approach it a different way. How about we ask them how much they want charged for us to fix
There
it?
you go.
I'm being serious, because then at least we would get it done. I don't want more work for our guys, but we shouldn't have to wait around 6 months for them to be like, oh, we're finally in the area, we're gonna fix something.
Right.
Well, that's just like, I don't think that rock thrown in that hole from up there on that second hole's right either. It needs to be out and it needs concrete in it.
Oh,
I did say that, I told him.
I'm not disagreeing, but that's what I'm saying is, why don't we ask them how much they're willing to pay us to fix it correctly? Because that might motivate them that we're kinda done with them.
Right.
Well, I mean, we shouldn't have to wait this long. Not,
Or you just tell them it's gonna cost you X.
and that's fine
You got 10
too.
days to do it yourself, or we're doing it and we're gonna
Yeah,
send you.
no different than a cleanup resolution.
Right.
Now, I tell the guys, I'm also not trying to get them more work.
Right,
I'm trying to motivate these people to do their job, to finish their jobs.
okay.
All else, we can go to Manhattan Shillings and get hot mix.
I know, I'm gonna check with our local provider to see
I-
if it is true that they're waiting on hot mix, just to make sure, and then I'll.
Well, the plant was running the other day. 'cause
Well, I
they-
know, but sometimes that's available for their projects, which is understandable because they can only make so much.
Right.
I agree. I just think that sometimes if we call them and prepare with them and work with them, that they'll make a little extra that we could fix them 2 small spots.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on street?
Yes, I got an email about dust control from
Oh.
8th to 16th Street, Jayhawk Road.
We've talked
I know.
about dust control in the past. The problem with that is once you put it down, then you can't blade it. And the other thing is, once you start doing it for one section, then you're gonna be doing it for everybody.
It is not cheap either.
It's not cheap.
It also, I'm not gonna lie, it's calcium chloride, so we know what we're doing, unless they've changed.
Isn't there like a beet version? There's like a.
I don't know if
some
they
kinda
use
weird-
it around here.
Okay.
Beet juice is what you're,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
talking
In the
about.
past on that strip, did the city do it, or was that township and the residents that?
Township and residents,
Yeah.
even as long as I've been at the county, 11, 12 years now, it's been township residents. If it was on a county road, you'd go out, you'd blade it up, you'd make it nice, they'd come in and they'd spray it. In some situations, you had to water the road if it was too dry. Then they would apply it. And it's a guy out of Winifred that applies it. Because he might, you might get it all ready and he might tell you, I have a load coming in Saturday and I'm putting it down Saturday.
So, I guess, because I had the same call, what if the only thing we did was said, we will have it bladed and ready for our application if you're willing to pay for your share and the township's willing to pay for their share?
Actually, the township doesn't pay, it's the owner. The
Yes.
township got it ready. So you're right, that's exactly what you would do is, we
'Cause I
would get
did
it
talk-
ready and then they can pay for it if they want it.
I talked to Danny, the guy in Winifred.
Yeah.
Bushlegger. The going rate's $1.48 a running foot at 18 foot wide. And he's trying to go quite a bit lower than that and trying to get lower than that. So to me, the solution is promote the property owner to,
Oh,
if
that's,
they wanna do it, great.
Absolutely.
that's as far as I know, that's what it's always
Yeah,
been.
it's always- That's what the county does.
Yeah, it was just, you got it ready and then they paid for it and they applied it. It just, you got it ready. If you needed material, hauled material in, you bladed it. And all he did was tell you what day he was gonna do it, so you'd be ready for
Cause
it.
then if you know, a property owner with 500 foot of frontage, you're looking at $700 or whatever it is, you know, and if they really want it, I think they'll pay for it, so I don't think we should discourage them.
No,
But if we could, if we could offer that one little tiny thing that says, well, we'll work with the township to make sure it's prepped for that day or whatever.
but the other thing they need to understand is, once it's down,
Can't touch it.
you can't blade through it. And they need to really understand
But we don't
that.
blade that road, right?
Yes,
Township.
we do.
Jayhawk out here and
Jayhawk.
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, then I think we just let them know that once.
Right. I
once
just
we do it.
don't, I don't want them to come back a month later and say it's really rough, you need to blade it, because then you're gonna get rid of that dust. And I want them to understand that once you blade it, it starts to go away really quick.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the material they use attracts water?
Correct. Yeah. Yes,
And there's a good chance when it rains, it makes it a sloppy mess.
it's gonna go soupy. That, again, they need to understand that.
Gets on the vehicles.
And, some of them, there was some claims one year that it screwed up some aluminum trailers. I'm not saying it was that stuff, I'm not saying it wasn't that stuff, I'm just saying there was some
There was
claims.
some suing, I forgot that, there was. Salt does wonders.
Anything else on the street? Oh, didn't you say something the other day about, some more grants becoming available for like intersection widening and things like that? You said something about that the other day.
I don't remember having that conversation with you.
Conversation.
Who were you talking to?
I don't know. I had a lot of conversations last week, though.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I
I
thought
think
you
he's
said-
talking about the one that if the whole region would go together, they're doing intersection
Oh,
widening,
yeah.
safing, sidewalks. That one, whatever,
Okay.
that was with Deb Oldie.
I think oh yeah, that was
That
an
one.
email from Deb Oldie.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, they've been talking about those, and I've went to meetings, but it's been a 6 months at the very least since I've been to one of those meetings. Yeah, the whole idea behind the law on infrastructure that they passed, they want large projects, but they want large regional projects. And I haven't quite understood how that would work, if they're not all connecting or anything like that. But, there is that option out there. I don't know how far down, an application is available, but I haven't seen those come through. But Deb Oldie, from North Central Regional Planning, has been talking about that.
Because whenever I hear about those grants, then I get all excited about the 3677 intersection that we've talked about improving for a while now. Anybody else have anything on the street? Water, wastewater?
Yep.
Okay, what do you got?
Come down here tonight on North Street. You can't miss our big sewer truck when it's sitting in the middle of the street. The guys were working. They have a plugged sewer line with tree roots. And it's
Okay.
between 9th and 10th, and it runs up the alley. I think Bargman told me it was like 500 feet. It's only a 6-inch line.
Okay.
You can't line it, and they can't
it's not
put their,
lined.
it can't be lined, it's too small, and they can't put their big head on the end of the machine to cut all the tree roots out. You got it there, Austin?
Yes.
What I'd like to do is let's figure out how much it's gonna cost to replace it. I don't remember who they said, but somebody has some sewer in their basement, so I'm sure there's a unhappy person up there. But when I
Which
talked
one,
to Bargy
10th?
at that time, he only could get about 20 feet,
It's in an alley.
25 feet
It's
up
in an
that
alley, yeah.
line. It's in the alley,
Right, the sewer in the alley, and it belongs
is what it
to-
is. There's a manhole at each end, but he can't get our machinery down. Too small. He would like to see it as an 8-inch line. I don't think that's
Well,
unreasonable for
that
us
would-
to try
that
and
would be-
fix. At least find out what it's gonna cost.
Right.
What's the length on it?
510 feet approximately.
Borgman said 500 feet to me.
Well, because I know that, I thought that they got to where they could line down to like 4-inch pipes. I don't know how long of a line.
Okay, so the 4-inch pipes are the ones, like the service lines,
Yeah.
and those are like the Ts.
Uh-huh.
They'll come in and do a special T that goes up those pipes, but I haven't had a company say they could do, anything smaller than an 8-inch.
They do in Omaha.
See, because they did your,
My daughter.
Daughter-in-law's-
My daughter, sorry, in Omaha.
and that was
But
probably a
it's a
4-inch
private
pipe.
Yeah, it's a private company.
They don't do it for municipalities.
No, it was a private company.
They do private lines, not municipality lines.
Right. So it's uneconomical somehow.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
and-
charge you pretty good.
They do.
For those service lines, yeah.
I know our guys were pulling balls of tree roots out of up there, what they're dealing with. And it's an old clay tile line, so I'm sure
Yeah.
it's separated in places. I just don't think it's unreasonable to at least
Is
figure
it
out.
just one little spot that has the main roots, or is the whole thing bad? Just because the thing, I mean, the line isn't what's gonna cost you, it's gonna be replacing the street when you get done.
Alley.
Yeah,
Alley.
that alley's got a lot of drop,
Alley and all
so,
that stuff.
Yeah, it does.
a lot of relief.
That alley's already broken up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trees right on top of it.
And I think that's the big
Yeah.
problem. You know the alley I'm talking
I
about.
do know that alley.
Better check that one out.
I just, an idea, because the next question is, I wonder how deep it is.
Good question.
So.
No, it's a project we didn't want is what it is. But I don't think it's gonna get better over the summer.
No, probably not.
I also think the drier it gets, the more them trees are gonna go looking for
Oh,
water.
they have been. There's a
Sits
few of
right on
those.
top of a tree, my sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys were struggling, and I felt bad for them.
Well, we got some of those, and we knew once we got the linings done, then, I mean, there's some of these that still have a party line in the alley where you got 5 or 6 houses dumping into it, but it's a private line. And those need to be, is
I
a part
think-
of one of
well,
those need to be,
Don't know if there's any left.
He has two.
I know at
The garage and
least,
the house, and he has somebody living in it, both dumped.
yeah, I know
They're
at least one that,
connected. They're-
for sure,
they're
that has a
connected.
party line that's in
Pretty sure.
bad shape
Yeah,
and has
I
never
think
been
they're
replaced.
connected.
Yeah, I don't know how it all works. I
think so.
you guys were having some frustration because got a nice big fancy truck, does a great job, and they can't get it to,
Well, it's not made for small, smaller.
no, it's not.
I mean, it can, don't get them wrong, we do have tools to get the smaller pipes, it's just the best tool is for the 8-inch.
Right.
That can cut through things.
We can do it, it just doesn't do the quality job.
Yeah,
That's what it
Takes
is.
longer.
yeah.
Well, we'll look into it, I guess.
Solution is to replace the whole.
Yeah,
It would be ideal to go to, because our minimum we put in is an 8-inch for sewer main. Yeah, this is probably just one of probably a few holdouts that are out there that are smaller than 8-inch.
There's a lot of houses on that stretch. It's a long, it's a long block.
There really is, now that I sit here and look at it.
What streets?
Well, 10th Street does have,
Between 9th and 10th.
here.
This is 10.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
Morris is
these
up there.
houses are
Oh, yeah,
attached to this one.
that's a double block.
So it's probably just the houses on 9th Street, maybe. Maybe.
That's the best case scenario.
Yeah. I bet it's a little.
But if it's so, then it really is a low pipe, because those houses on 9th are lower than the alley.
Yeah.
The drain, they drain to the street, the land does. So,
I know the one on the corner of Ninth actually runs out to the center of the street. Do you know that? Because that's been worked on before. You see the cut in concrete.
yeah, you can see where the work's been done.
We can look to see how much this might cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on water, wastewater?
Yeah.
Hear anything on water line yet?
Still at the state.
On, talking on Broadway
The-
and all that?
Yeah, we're waiting on that second part through KDHE.
Okay.
We have a lot of storm sewer catch basins kind of going to pot. I know I pointed one out to Austin up here at the corner of 10th and Center, because I stopped on, I go through that light a lot. I stopped on my motorcycle and about put my foot in it, literally. Would have been a little bit of a tough fall. But it kind of got me looking at other catch basins, and even some of the newer ones. Down here under the bridge where Broadway turns into 2nd Street is sinking. It's probably 3 inches lower than the surrounding curb and gutter, which that's not even 15, almost 20 years old, I guess. But you look at any of those catch basins, they're kind of off the radar, but they get a lot of use. And when you go and look, all the salt eating away at the joints. I
Well-
think we're going to have more fail soon.
And you say it, but the one on Airport Road,
Yeah.
that one's getting pretty bad right there. Airport, what is that street?
16.
16th, it's on the north side.
Yeah, it's a big hole.
It's developing a problem.
I mean, I know it's like, it's part of the storm drain system, it's part of the streets, they've argued on either side. I don't know if that's something we need to start, do we have like a list? I mean, we kind of put them out, we kind of fix them as they come up, but we almost need to get a little bit of a, let's scout them all out and grade them.
Urban gutter thing that we're doing.
Yeah,
We need to start doing it with some storm drains.
yeah.
I think that's, I mean, there's some involved, so we're catching a little bit, but I agree, we could probably do something like we're doing the ADA ramps.
So many.
And maybe if, and capitalize on the idea that if there's a catch basin next to a needed ramp, then we just pounce on those. And maybe our project looks a little bit more sporadic than it currently does.
Yeah, but it makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think if we can centralize our thinking on doing two things at once, I think that's a great way to look at it.
This is part of getting ahead of it, you know, being part of the solution rather than just putting out fires. Wait until they fail till we do it. And some of them, like along the highway, I don't know if that can be roped into, you know, another project there. I know we're gonna end up redoing some of the, we're gonna have to do the highway again here one of these years. It seems like it was just done, but it's alligatoring really bad.
Yeah.
And some of the approaches are pretty
We're
rough
just 2
too.
years out.
Yeah. But yeah, some of those, with the stop lines, off some of the streets, the roads are dipping into those, and I'm like, I don't know if that needs to be a separate project, or it needs to be tied in, or, I know before we did some of those, while we did the highway, but.
And I don't know if you take the cement back a little bit farther in the intersection
To where the cars actually stop.
Right.
Because I think the cars stop on the brick or whatever right before it, and that's dishing it out.
So I don't know if you'd move it back, if that would help with that or not.
Well, I know some of the manhole surrounds, the one up here at 9th and Center is getting a little rough. You can actually hear the difference with trucks rolling over it, because the four corners are starting to get wonky.
Speaking of storm drainage, where are we at on that? Because we talked about doing some work on that one by Nordis's, that one that's collapsed by town apartments.
That's in the planning process still.
We haven't heard anything else?
No,
about that?
no, well, I mean, whenever I ask for the updates, from CES, I mean, it's in the planning process, along with the, sewer by KDOT.
Yep,
By
okay.
KDOT, so those are both in the planning process.
Anything else on water, wastewater? Parks and Rec?
Somebody brought to my attention that the sod house is probably due for a redo. Apparently, we do that every X many years. Or we arrange for the FFA to do it every X many years.
No, it's a Kiwanis project, and I have discussed this with Kiwanis. They did approach me, they bought the equipment, or whatever, supplies, 2 years ago, and then I think it all fell apart with the pandemic and all that stuff. So they plan to fix it up.
They're aware and
Yes.
something's in the works.
Are they we gonna fix the drainage problem between the concrete and the sod house?
Dom has an idea of how to get that.
Did we get it off the wood of the schoolhouse yet?
That's a part of it, a part of getting that drainage.
All that does is bring rodents and termites into this
Yep.
schoolhouse. Should never been put that deep in there anyway.
Another something up at Lakeview, apparently there's been some concern. I never remember which diamond is which color. So we're gonna say the southeast diamond, the black?
Black.
Yeah, there you go.
The down below one.
Correct, the low
Yeah,
one.
that's the black one.
Black. About the kind of gravel slope there, apparently there were at least 2 people, I wasn't there, I'm being told, who took a tumble at the games there this weekend because there's no rail and it's kind of an undefined area and there's not really steps. So they're asking that we at least look at putting steps so that getting up and down through there is a little easier. not somewhere I spend a lot of time, my kids
No,
don't
but
play
I'm
ball
thinking,
anymore.
did they say which side?
All I know, it was the gravel in that
That's
area.
been the south side, Parker.
Yeah, and I'm just,
We've done some, I mean, we've done kind of a steady stream of these kinds of repairs in that area. And I mean, I know a good way to get our attention is it's a safety issue, but
right, but what I'm saying is you're supposed to, the way they have it flow, you come down the stairs in the center and you go over to your dugout,
yeah.
and the same over there. And they put that wall in, 2 walls in for washing.
Right.
I thought those had, I thought those had rails on
They
them.
had a rail on the top side of both of them.
So they had to be clear down.
Yeah, they had to be
Going
quite a
down the
ways down.
steep grass, which I'm not,
Yeah.
not diminishing it, I'm just figuring
Yeah.
out where they're at.
I wasn't there and I wasn't
Right.
walked through, it was third hand. So.
Right.
But it's, didn't want to not bring it, they're saying people are falling on city property.
Oh, I agree, I agree.
Anything else on Parks and Rec?
Pools, well, you said we're filling it currently?
Today, yes.
Okay.
They had to wash it out again after the storm, but, yeah, they're filling it today. Or they started filling it today.
And lifeguards, we haven't gained any more then, huh? Just the 9. There's that one.
We got one that might be able to do it in June, she'll be old enough then.
Okay. Anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport? Did they get the directory all, I've been up there since, they were working on it that one day.
Did they get the kiosk up yet?
Yes.
Yeah. It's up and the names are on it and the
The
maps.
names are on it and everything
Yes.
already? Oh, cool.
Yes.
I've seen they had the pad for it, I didn't know.
Yep.
That was quick.
We were
It
up
was.
there Friday night.
Yeah, we were surprised. We didn't say, in case something fell through, we didn't say a word about it. But they got it all up and running. Got all the stuff printed out and laminated and put in there.
It's up there for Memorial Day weekend.
Yep, it's up there for Memorial Day.
Good.
Anything else on Cemetery and Airport? Police and Fire? Eminent Finance?
Are we gonna have another,
You need to have, yeah, we're trying to schedule that for next week if somebody has days. That'd be you and you and you.
Next week I'm good, except for Wednesday.
Not Wednesday?
Pick a day.
Monday's the only day I
Week of
can't,
school. What day?
Monday's the only day I can't next
You
week.
can't Monday, you can't Wednesday, so that gives us Tuesday, Thursday,
Absolutely not on Tuesday.
okay? Thursday,
Thursday.
Friday?
There's not Friday either.
Okay, Thursday?
Thursday I could probably do.
Okay.
Pick a time.
I don't care. I literally have nothing on my
Pick a
calendar
time.
that whole day.
I don't,
You
I
get done at 4:30?
I get home at 4:15.
Okay. You wanna go 4:30? You wanna go 5?
Don't care.
don't care, 4:30?
There you go.
Okay.
Next Thursday at 4:30.
There you go. That's the 18th, right?
Yep.
Anything else on Eminent Finance? We have a couple of appointments to the Library Board.
Who approved Mayor's Appointments Library Board, Dixie Talbot replacing Brian Croft and Ross Wright.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 8-0. City Attorney's not here. I don't think we need an executive session for anything, do we?
Move to adjourn.
Round table.
Hey, there's a motion on the table, let's go. I'm with you.
Todd?
Had a nice tractor and truck show at the city park this Sunday. That was, I think they'll grow it if they keep doing it, but it was good weather and kind of a good use and kind of a little something different, which I thought was pretty cool they did that. So that's all I got.
Okay. Jeff?
Nope.
Lori?
I should have brought this up earlier. Potholes 11th to 12th on Oto. Made a note in my phone.
On O2?
Yep. That's all I got.
Would you decide on the dirt piles before I tell somebody else to go grab them?
I was trying to justify going out and getting them, but after seeing the dirt pile that we're gonna get from down here and them telling me that it's not even gonna cut what we need, I think thank you, but no thank you. Yeah, because,
Somebody asked me, I just wanna make sure of that.
yeah, yes.
I've spoken.
And I'm sorry I didn't get back with you, but no, go ahead and hand those out, because we need lots, and I think we're gonna just have to rely a lot on the contractor who's gonna go get them. Especially when they're gonna need a specific type of dirt too. Yeah.
Kyle?
Nope.
Parker?
Yeah, one thing.
Okay.
Who's the guy looking at our generators?
Jay Chapin?
Oh, that's a good point. That
That's
looked kinda
fine. I
open-ended.
got a name, I have no company, I have nothing like that. Who is it?
Oh, he just emailed me. He wanted to take a look at, and, let me look at my emails. He
He had his shirt on.
What's this for?
he was proposing doing maintenance on our
Don't we
generators.
have all cat generators though? And
Yes.
he's the one who originally sold them to us. He's the, yeah,
That's a good point. It's a contract, and the city, and we
He's
are-
trying to give us something, and that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't even know who he is or what he works for.
well, you also need to put it out
High
publicly
Plains,
for bid.
High Plains Power Systems is who he works for.
He started a new company, or did he transfer to a new company?
I don't know if he started it or not. It's out of Topeka.
Okay.
He says yeah, he approached us and said, yeah. So, yeah, we haven't put it out there. He just wanted to look at what
You
we
know
got.
what?
at present B and W does it.
I know, but I don't have a problem with putting it out there,
Yeah.
because it's probably involving oil changes and everything else, isn't it?
Yes.
I say put it out there just so at least we know where he's at.
Right.
You mean getting quotes from everybody?
Well, I'd get a deal from Caterpillar and ask them what
With their charge.
they charge and stuff like that.
Foley and Murphy and,
I don't know if Murphy will, I wouldn't be afraid to ask them, I just don't know if they
yeah.
would
Cindy,
never
do we
know.
have a yearly?
cross that thing.
We have a contract with B and W that's way old.
Where's
But
one
does
of
it
the
Just
end-
do the oil changes.
No, but
Where's
is
one
it
of the fixed
yearly?
guys doing that?
So it ends every year? Okay, so,
I think it just was extended. It was written a long time ago.
well,
can't-
I know,
I can't
but,
believe I'm gonna.
I'd
do
have to look to
somebody's
see when
job.
it expires. I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'll have to look to see.
well,
when
we're
it
gonna
expires.
look at when our current contract expires, and that's when it would go. A few months before that would go out to
But B and
get
W
quotes.
only does oil changes. They do not repair anything.
I know.
So that's a different, I mean, if they're.
It would be different, but
Yeah.
I would want it all in one sort of thing.
Okay. Anything else? Parker?
No, I'm good, sorry.
Nope.
Kevin?
Move to adjourn.
There's another motion on the table.
The only thing I would say with this instance this last week, and I know there's been some discussion before about like a possible land bank. And the only reason why I bring this up is because the one person that had that property, he wasn't fixing it. Somebody came up and offered him some money, and he saw the opportunity to dump it off on somebody else. If we had a land bank, that person could donate it, write it off on their taxes, it'd get torn down, somebody could purchase that property, build something on that property, which is what we would want.
I think that's a good conversation to have with the, because that's a county-wide issue. I think that's a very good conversation to have with the county.
Okay.
To keep a consistency, because you see it in Beatty, Home City, Blue Rapids, Waterville.
Yeah.
And, we don't want to try to micromanage our own land bank. Most of them that I've seen are county-wide until you get into the big city,
Yeah.
you know, the big suburbs of Kansas
That's
City or
another
something.
one of those lots down there that's in that end of town. It's gonna be too narrow to put a house on.
Well,
And you
that's
could
something-
fold it into the, you could,
Huh?
You could fold it into the infill housing, and there might be a lot next to it that someday comes available. And
Okay, but
Yeah.
you also can go, and there's ways to get around it.
You
We
can-
need to advertise that there's ways to get exceptions and everything like that,
Right.
you know.
Oh, yes. Kevin, you're gonna do the wreath, I understand?
Yes.
Okay.
At
They
Memorial
tell
Day.
the- Yeah, I was gonna say, tell the
Yes.
rest of
Yes.
these people what you're talking about.
I will be there.
And another thing, we got a 5% reduction on our KMIT because our employees did a good job about not having any workman comp claims, so
Nice.
I'd like to congratulate them on doing a good job keeping that stuff under control,
They've
so,
been meeting all the time, the whole committee, that has made a big difference.
yeah. It's like a $1,900 savings, so, good deal. But that's all I have.
Move to adjourn.
The motion was on the floor already.
Second.
Twice? Are we leaving or not?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?